Hey lovelies, hope you're all good, staying inside, keeping safe. I'm going to teach you guys how I do my meatballs at home. Yes, how I do them. So first off, I've got in here 750 grams of beef mince, 15% fat. You can use whatever mince you want, that's up to you. However, I use beef mince with 15% fat from my local supermarket. So that's all here in the bowl, as you can see. To this, I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt, just normal table salt, whatever one you have access to. And I add a half teaspoon of ground black pepper, quarter teaspoon of dried jerk seasoning, 1 teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning, going to add half teaspoon of mixed herbs, going to add 2 teaspoons of parsley. That's dried parsley, by the way. If you want to use fresh parsley, that's totally up to you. And that was heaped, by the way. So let's just drop my teaspoon. I'm gonna add in some paprika. So you don't want too much, you just want a little bit. I'll probably say that's about a quarter teaspoon of paprika in there. Use whatever paprika you can have access to, whether it's smoked or whatever. That's up to you. So I've got golden breadcrumbs, using the Paxo one today. Golden breadcrumbs. You don't have to use this brand, whatever one you have access to, use that. So I'm just going to add in 2 heaped tablespoons. And then I've got an egg here that I've cracked into a small bowl. So you just want to add your egg in. Just want to get that in the sink. That's it. Just washing off my gloves, guys. Right, so you literally just want to mix this in until it's all incorporated in properly together, and then we'll move on to our next step. So just make sure you haven't got one set of ingredients clumped in one place. You just want to make sure that you got it all mixed in. Right guys, so once that's all done, obviously wash your hands off. You're going to want to get a frying pan ready, preferably a non-stick one, and also another saucepan where you can make your sauce that you're going to cook your meatballs down in. So I'm just going to wash my hands and then get back to you guys with the next step. Alright guys, so as you can see, I've got my saucepan, as I said earlier. In there, all I've got is some passata, tomatoes, and then it's got some basil added in there. That's the one that I've got. So I've got 1.5 of these cartons in the pot. It's just good to get this sauce prepared in advance so that you don't actually have to put the meatballs on a plate whilst you're waiting for your sauce to start warming up and do its thing. So to this, I'm going to add a teaspoon of parsley, dried parsley. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, just table salt, and then just for a little bit of background flavour, my spoiled taste buds, and also because I'm cooking for children, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of ketchup in there. You can use whatever ketchup you would like to use. Oh, sorry guys, I don't know what is wrong with these bottles, and they have ketchup in there and then they just decide to do their own thing. Don't mind me. And to that, I'm just going to add a bit of water from the kettle already boiled up. So I'm just going to add a little bit in there, not too much. And then I'm just going to mix that all in and leave it on the heat to just slowly simmer away whilst I get my meatballs ready and fry them off. Okay, so you're going to want to keep this pot on a low heat in the background so it can be simmering away. Okay guys, so I'm just going to sort that out, put it down, and then come back to you. Alright guys, so I have my frying pan here on a medium heat and my meatballs mixture here. So I'm literally just going to start forming these into the balls and putting them in the hot pan. What I don't want to do is to basically cook them through in the frying pan. I just want to seal them off, brown them, and then get them into the sauce, the tomato sauce. So guys, if you want to and you want your meatballs to have a bit more colour, you can always add a tiny bit of browning in there. I'd probably say about a teaspoon's worth of browning. I'm going to do that because of bad habits. I always like to add, you know, browning to my mince and stuff, but you don't have to, which is why I didn't include it in the actual main video. But feel free to add it if you so wish, okay? It's not a necessity, which is why I did not add it in the main video, but you can actually add it in there if you want. So I've literally just poured a bit of browning in with the mince and other ingredients. Washed off my hands because I touched the external bottle, and I'm just mixing it in. Okay guys, so literally that's all I've done. So feel free to do that or not to do that. It's up to you. But like I said, I've just added a bit of browning to my own and now I'm mixing it in. Right, so the pan should be warm enough now. So I'm just gonna form the meatballs and then add them to the hot pan. Like I said, you're not trying to cook it completely in the pan, so don't stress. And the meatballs can be whatever size you want them to be. There is no set size for them. I do a mixture of sizes because obviously the children and the adults will have different sizes, or if you want to, you can just do big ones and then split them in half for the children, depending on how much meat your children require. And I don't use oil when I'm cooking mince, okay guys? I don't do that because mince contains a lot of fat and it will create its own oil whilst in the pan, so you don't actually need to do that. The darker bits is actually the browning that I've just added in, just in case anybody was wondering. Do not put your hands in the pot. Please use suitable utensils for that mission. Some gloves. And guys, please remember, after handling any of your external boxes or cartons or bottles or anything like that, make sure you wash your hands before you put in your main food, or failing that, when you come back from your grocery shopping, just wash off your shopping that you've done. Obviously with what's going on, you know, there's been people out there that think it's funny to lick stuff that are on the supermarket shelves and cough on them, and then yeah, I've actually seen instances this week where somebody's actually coughed all over their hands and just went and touched shopping on the shelf and put it back casually, like, I don't want this. So do bear that in mind when you're doing your food. You don't want any of that germs going in there. So I'm just going to turn over this one now. Guys, please use a fork or a spoon or something. So that's all you're trying to do, just get the outside to brown. Okay, that's it. After that, we're trying to get it into the sauce to cook the middle, so that the middle is nice and moist. I'm going to do 2 small ones for the children. Alright, so that's all my meatballs in. I'm going to wash my hands. Right, so I'm going to behave myself now and just get a fork and do the rest. Right, so I'm literally just going to let these finish browning off. So all of the outside of the meatballs should be brown. You literally just need to leave them on each side for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then after that, you're going to need to transfer them over to your sauce. But I'm going to keep turning them until all sides have browned off, and then I'll come back and show you guys the next step. Right, love, so it's been a couple of minutes. The sauce has been on, just simmering away. I'm going to turn it down to the lowest heat possible, and then just give it another little mix. Right, so that's fine. So I'm just going to go ahead now and take the meatballs out of the frying pan and add them to the sauce. Like I said before, the meatballs are brown on the outside, the middle of them are still raw, okay? So when they go into the tomato sauce, that's when they're going to actually cook right through. So like I said, I've browned them on all of the sides, and then I'm now transferring them over to the sauce. That reminds me. I'm just waiting for the smaller ones to finish off, and then I'll transfer them over as well. Okay, so literally that's all there is to it, and then you just need to just mix it up a bit, make sure that the sauce goes over all of the meatballs and that it's being cooked through properly. You just keep it on the heat, and I'd say let that cook through for about 10 to 15 minutes depending on the size of your meatballs. Obviously if you've done much smaller meatballs, then you only need about 10 minutes, but if you've done big ones like mine, then give them another 5 minutes. So give them 15 minutes in the sauce on a medium heat and just let them cook through properly. So all of the meatballs have been transferred over now. I'm just going to give it a mix, and then I'm just going to cover it down and let it cook right through the center of the meatballs. So all of them are covered now in the sauce. So you guys, I'm just going to leave this for about 15 minutes to do its thing, and then I'll come back and show you guys. Right guys, just quickly, I thought I'd show you before I actually wash this pot up. This is how much oil came out of the meat just by itself. So as you can see there, I didn't add any oil to the frying pan at all, but that is what has come out of the mince all by itself. No oil added or anything. So just so you guys see for yourself, you do not need oil to cook mince, because you're literally adding oil on top of oil. Okay guys, so there you go. Right, lovely, so the 15 minutes is done. I'm just going to turn this stove off and give it a mix. It smells lovely, honestly. So you guys can see what is going on exactly. So there you go. They're cooked now, ready to go. You've got loads of sauce to put over your pasta, and make sure that it's not dry or anything like that. Okay. So I'm just gonna show you guys one of the meatballs that I'm gonna cut open. I'll do one of the bigger ones. Okay, I'm just gonna put that on the plate because I've got to cut the children's one anyway. So you can see, there you go. I'm just gonna move this camera around to show you guys what I'm doing. There you go. Sorry about the noise, guys. It's not my own personally. Oh gosh, I'm turning on my machine doing all sorts. Right guys, so I'm just going to cut into this meatball so you can see that the inside of it is not raw or anything. There you go. So it's nice and juicy on the inside. It's not raw or anything, yeah? So it's cooked right through, and it's still nice and moist on the inside. It's not cooked to a death, literally. Oh, see that? So yeah, so make sure you can see both parts. So there you go, both sides, yeah. So there you go, guys. So this literally is a foolproof method to get your meatballs nice and moist on the inside whilst being fully cooked. There you have it. Stop buying frozen meatballs from the supermarkets and corner shops and wherever else, okay? Because you can make it with fresh ingredients from beginning to end from home in literally under half an hour. Okay guys? Alright loves, so that's the complete meal. I've literally just done a bit of spinach on the side, that's it. So you've got your meatball spaghetti, and I put the cheese underneath the meatballs. So it's up to you, you can put it on the top if you want, that's totally down to you. Guys, just remember, if you want a foolproof method that literally has your meatballs moist on the inside, fully cooked, then this is the perfect one. Anybody can do it, literally just follow the instructions and you will get it perfect every time. Guys, don't forget to like the video if you found it helpful, or if you just like it, and subscribe. Okay, I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe, guys. Love you. Bless you.